Graves is obviously struggling, and he is hearing it from the fans here at Great American Ballpark.
Well, that was the scene at Great American Ballpark Sunday after Reds closer Danny Graves got rocked in the ninth by the Cleveland Indians. And when he gave the jeering fans the old one-gun salute, that apparently closed his career with the Reds. Graves, the team's career saves leader, has been designated for assignment, meaning the team has 10 days to either trade him or to waive him. General Manager Dan O'Brien called his on-field performance unsatisfactory and unacceptable. Graves' teammates were absolutely shocked. Sean Casey, in fact, said, quote, "This is not his fault. We stink," end of quote. Well, Sean, when you're right, you're right. The Reds had lost 18 of their last 23 entering Monday's play, but Graves has clearly lost his velocity, having trouble breaking 90 on the gun this season. So the Reds at home for the Washington Nationals, and Eric Milton's been another disappointment for the Cincinnati Reds, but we'll break down this 8th inning at bat for you here. Jason LaRue dropping down the sign, and what he's calling for the breaking ball, but pounding the other way. This is Tony Blanco at the bat right now. Blanco's expecting the pitch to be inside. Guess what? Breaking ball. Right over the outside corner. So Blanco gets him. Remember this guy, David Weathers? He's in on the top of the ninth for the save. 2 out, 5-3 Reds. And Weathers gets Gary Bennett swinging. The Reds win at 5-3. Weathers' 15th career save, but his first since September of 2003.
Evening, everyone. Before tonight's Reds game, manager Dave Myler removed chairs belonging to Junior and Adam Dunn, his vibrating lounger, from the locker room. Miley says just changing things up, no one's in trouble. It's life after Danny Graves for the second straight day. And for the second straight day, the Reds try to win a ball game. That's something they haven't done in over a month. But remember, the reason given for Graves' departure was his inability to close games. So did that problem leave with him? Brandon Clausen in trouble right off the bat in this one. Vinny Castilla in the first with a shot to left center. Jamie Carroll will score easily, but Junior's slide keeps Nick Johnson from coming in. It's just 1-0. The Reds get to Levan Hernandez in the bottom half. Austin Kearns with the bases loaded and 2 outs down the line and right. And that'll go all the way to the corner. Felipe Lopez, Sean Casey score before Jose Guillen gets to it, and Adam Dunn makes 3. It's 3-1 Reds. Clausen throws his first quality start and gets some defensive help from Sean Casey, robbing Brad Wilkerson. 3-2, 2 outs in the ninth. This one looking good for new closer David Weathers, and guess what? He can't hold it. Carlos Baerga pinch hit, rips over the bag, and Nick Johnson comes home to tie it. We're going to extras, and there we stay. We are in the bottom of 14. Call-up Randy Kiesler has pitched 2 scoreless innings. Kearns just took one to the wall, but it was caught. Reds right now have second and third and 1 out in the bottom of 14. We'll keep you updated. Randy Kiesler has just come up with a game-winning base hit. He was the call-up for Danny Graves. He scores, Jason LaRue, and the Reds have won 2 games in a row. Let me give you these numbers. Thank you very much. Clausen with 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 earned runs. Before this, they were 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They used 7 pitchers on the way to back-to-back wins over the Nationals. And Paul Wilson will not be starting the game on Thursday. He still has tendonitis.
Nationals in Cincinnati. Brandon Clausen 3-3, 2.41 in day games, 1-8, 7.55 in night games. Worst in the majors among 229 active pitchers with at least 10 nighttime starts. He may suffer from nyctophobia, which is an abnormal fear of night or of the dark or of Nick at Night reruns.
Or maybe not.
Well, good point. 3rd inning, Ryan Church. Clausen out of a bases loaded jam. Clausen allowed just 2 runs on 7 hits and 6. Never leave your wingman. 9th inning, new closer David Weathers looking for his second save in as many nights, but continuing the new tradition of Reds closers. Pinch hitter Carlos Baerga delivers Nick Johnson. We're tied at 3. 14th inning. Pitcher Randy Kiesler has to bat. We're out of pinch hitters. Kiesler just called up from the minors a day earlier. Nationals bring the infield in. This guy's a pitcher, minor leaguer. He'll never hit. You know what? He squeaks it through. His first major league hit and RBI. He also pitched 2 innings and got the win. What a night for Kiesler. Reds win in 14.
Aaron Harang comes up with a sick flu. Matt Belisle is forced to start. Matt Belisle was the only one non-starter not to pitch in last night's 14-inning affair. Good thing he's sitting Jose Guillen down on the first. 1 of 6 Ks on the day. Felipe Lopez in the first off Claudio Vargas with Ryan Friel aboard. Already 6 on the year, hitting .307. Off and running in the second. Ryan Friel stealing third. Ball hits him, and he's headed home. The Reds are up 3-zip. Friel with his 12th stolen base puts the Reds up in the 5th. It's Austin Kearns down the line and into the corner. Double scoring Griffey and Dunn. It's 6-2 in the 6th for Ryan Friel. Speed and power today. Solo job is first on the year. 1 of 4 hits. Jose Guillen still likes hitting here. A monster swing for his second dinger of the game. He also added a double. But the Reds would add 5 more in the 8th. Jacob Cruz becomes the last National League player on opening day roster to get a start and celebrates with a bases-loaded ground rule double. Off LaSalle's Zach Day, and the Reds sweep the Nationals 12-3, and the Jimenez-Graves cuts appear to be working. Junior gets his first perfect game of the year, going 3 for 3, 2 runs scored over the sweep. Reds relievers set up big, giving up just 2 earned through 12 innings of work. And the Reds start a 4-game set with the Bucks tomorrow. Game time 7:10.
With those 2 moves right there, as much money as they were making, you know, nobody's secure around here, and you know, hopefully that we all got that point, and we can move on from there.
There's been some decisions that, you know, that leading up to, you know, coming into this series or whatever, and you know, I just think the guys again are starting to swing the bats better.
Evening, everyone. D'Angelo Jimenez isn't with the team. Sean Casey's got a bruised rotator cuff. Joe Randa an aching left foot. Rich Aurilia a strained left hamstring. Jason LaRue, he's just got a sore wrist. Who's left? Just 2 opening day starters are in the lineup to face the Pirates tonight. Austin Kearns and Adam Dunn, but Dunn moves to first. Opening up an outfield spot for call-up Jason Romano, and Junior gets a night off, so Ryan Friel gets more playing time. Can this group of backups make it 4 straight? Alizardo Ramirez puts the Reds in an early hole, top 1, second and third. Rob Makoviak, 2-out single to center. Matt Lawton and Jason Bay will score, and it's 2-0 Pirates. Felipe Lopez in the 3-hole. Takes Oliver Perez the other way, and for the second straight night, he homers in the first inning. His 7th, on track to be the only Red shortstop other than Larkin to hit 20. Third inning, gets bad. 1 in, 1 on. Darrell Ward, deep to right and gone. 4 scored, and Ramirez lasts only 2 2/3 with 6 runs. Oliver Perez loves to face the Reds. Allows only 3 hits, strikes out 8 in 5 1/3. More damage in the 7th. Lawton, a large one. He goes 3 for 4, 2 RBI. Foul pole means it's fair, 8-2 Bucks. At least Joe Randa's feeling a little bit better. Pinch hitting in the 9th. Takes it to left. Scores Jason Romano, who has 2 of the Reds' 6 hits. Winning streak ends at 3. 8-4 is your final. 8 of the Pirates' 9 starters had at least 1 hit apiece by the 6th inning, including 2 by the pitcher Perez. Lefty's now 5-0 against the Reds, dating to last season. Felipe Lopez extends his hitting streak to 8 games. He's now hitting .305, and on the downside, Bergoya 1 for 5, and average now at a minuscule 147. An unexpected ending for D'Angelo Jimenez and the Reds. Actually, it's not an end to their relationship after all. Jimenez surprisingly accepts his assignment to the minors, not AAA, already at AA Chattanooga, in hopes of keeping in shape and improving his trade value. In the stadium's 2+ years of existence, no visiting team has more wins here than the Buccos with 14 and 21 tries, and there's more bad news. Tonight's starter Josh Fogg at his best against the Reds with a career 6-1 record. No score till the 4th. Rob Makoviak with 2 men aboard off Ramon Ortiz, a no-doubter to make it 3-zip Bucks. Same inning, Dan Ross. Fly ball to right field, 1 out. Jose Castillo at third and tagging. Austin Kearns comes up throwing and firing a laser. No way, Jose. Reds get one back, bottom half of the frame. Ken Griffey Jr. singling to right. That'll score Felipe Lopez, and the Reds are down 3-1. Next inning, Javier Valentin off Josh Fogg. That's a bullet. Solo job. His first on the year, 3-2. Next inning, Adam Dunn takes this one to left center. Does it have enough? You betcha. 14th on the year, tied for the National League lead. Game tied at 3. Then after a Joe Randa double, Jacob Cruz finds a gap. another two-bagger. That's down the line. The Reds have the lead, and please, won't you be my Valentine? To the gap and right for a single to score Cruz. Reds lead 5-3, but oh boy, it's the ninth inning. Ross to second. Ryan Friel with a what doing? Nowhere close to done. Both runs score for a Ryan Wagner blown save, tied at 5, bottom 9. Friel trying to make amends. Number to third, can't make the play. First and third, Lopez. Broken bat to short. Here comes Romano. Great slide. Reds win 6-5. Ortiz gets a no decision. One bad pitch hurts him. 6 1/3, 10 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. Wagner's first career save will now have to wait, but he does get the win. Lopez extends his season-high hitting streak to 9 games. 1 game short of matching the career high he set last August. Dunn's homer, 50th of his career at Great American Ballpark. All 12 of his RBI at home have come on home runs.
When he hit the home run, you know, I don't think about when he hit it. You know, we think about the neck hit it and take the game close. I know the thing coming back, you know, and score some run for me and win the game.
We were talking about it down there at third, me and Barry, and we pretty much said if the ball sits slow enough, let's try to beat it, win this thing. If it was hits to third base or pitcher, we'd have been out, but luckily it was slow enough where we made it.
You know, both of them battled with 2 strikes, and you know, you put the ball in play, things can't happen.
Good things happen. Big day tomorrow. Jersey number worn by Reds Hall of Fame manager George Sparky Anderson will be retired during ceremonies prior to the 7-10 game against the Pirates. Sparky's number 10 will be the 8th number retired by the team, all displayed below the press box at Great American Ballpark. You'll hear from Sparky on Local 12 tomorrow at 6 and 11.
That's why the lackluster Reds drew more than 30,000 fans, walk-up of more than 7,000 for tonight's festivities. Let's go to Great American Ballpark. It was like a blast from the past tonight. Tony Perez, Joe Morgan, Johnny Bench, watching the 71-year-old Sparky Anderson jawing with Marty Brennaman. And then the Reds immortalized Sparky's number 10, only the 8th number retired in Reds history. This moment long overdue for the humble skipper.
Bob Howsam brought me here 35 years ago. And from that moment on, it was like magic. Everything happened so well for me in my baseball career. But what people don't understand until, and I've said this many times, until you have worn a Reds uniform, you have never known what it is to play in the major leagues.
Meanwhile, Reds injured infielder Rich Aurelia begins his rehab assignment with AAA Louisville tonight. He goes 1 for 3, including a run-scoring double, leading the bats to victory. Reds could have used them to battle the Pirates tonight as starter Eric Milton fails to duplicate his winning effort from Monday night. Let's go back to the ballpark. Sparky's number 10 also gets onto the field behind second base tonight, while Milton falls behind quickly. Pittsburgh's third batter, Jason Bay, bangs his 11th homer, 2-run job, upper deck and left. Pirates 2-zip in the first. It only gets worse for Milton. Humberto Cota, the bloop to right, falls in, scores 2 more. It's 4-zip Pirates after 1. Next inning, Ty Whittington, another 2-run blast for the Pirates, and it's 6-zip, end of 2. Then in the third, Milton gives up his 3rd homer tonight, league-leading 20th this season. Cota opposite way, 7-zip, Milton gone after 3. Reds get their first hit off Dave Williams in the 5th. Pinch hitter Jacob Cruz doubles the right center. Javier Valentin comes all the way around from first to score, and it's 7-1. The only other bright spot for the Reds, Felipe Lopez with a 10-game hitting streak, smacks his 3rd home run in the last 4 games, 8 overall. In the end, it's the Pirates winning 9-2. Welcome back. Felipe Lopez has hit in 20 of the last 23 games, effectively seizing the starting shortstop job. So when Rich Aurelia came off the disabled list today, the veteran infielder starts at third base instead. His return means the end of William Bergoya's stay in the major leagues. The 22-year-old hits just 143 in 35 at-bats and is optioned back to Louisville. But it's neither Lopez nor Aurelia who comes up large in today's series finale against the Pirates. Let's go to Great American Ballpark. 1-0, bottom 2. 1 on for Jason LaRue. He missed 4 straight games with an injured wrist, but takes Kip Wells deep to center for his 3rd homer. It's 3-zip. 2 outs in the inning. Runners on the corners for Sean Casey. Freddie Sanchez throws high to Ty Wigginton. Casey safe on the error. Brandon Clausen scores 4-0. Next batter is Junior. There is no doubt about this one. 3-run homer to right field, his 7th on the year. 1st and 32 at-bats. 7-0. Next inning, it's LaRue again. Doubles down the line in right. one of his 3 hits today. By the time Michael Restovich gets it in the corner, Austin Kearns is motoring around from first. That makes it 8-0. 2 batters later, Brian Friel rips one to left. The double scores LaRue easily. It's 9-zip. Clausen pitches a career-high 7 2/3 innings to earn his first win in 5 starts. He allows 2 runs on 7 hits. Bottom 6, Junior nearly gets another one. Off the wall in right center, the double plates Lopez. Junior drives in a season-high 5 runs. Bottom 7 now, Friel doubles down the third base line. His 3rd hit of the day to snap a 1-for-14 slump. Despite an 8-run lead, LaRue is still hustling. Gotta love that. The relay throw home is in time, but LaRue beats the tag. He scores. He is safe. Top 8. Wigginton gets hold of Clausen's pitch. Headed for the Reds bullpen in center field. But look at Ryan Friel as he goes back and leaps and robs the home run. Take another look as the 5'10 Friel gets some serious air. The Reds finish the 10-game homestand 6-4, match their largest winning margin of the season, 11-2, your final score. Now Kip Wells loses for the first time in 8 starts. Victimized by 5 unearned runs, Lopez extends his hitting streak to a career-high 11 games. LaRue's is 8 games. Aurelia goes 1 for 4 in his return. Griffey, with his 508 home runs, now needs 3 more to tie Mel Ott for 18th place on the all-time career list.
You got to give Brandon credit. He went out there and pitched like it was 0-0. Used all his pitches. I thought him and LaRue did a good job doing that. And you know, that's what that's the kind of starts that, you know, gives you a chance to get a little bit of momentum and score some runs.
Can't say enough good things about him. He came in there and threw strikes and hit his spots and pitched a great game.
You can settle in and just really go after hitters. You don't have to nitpick. You just go challenge guys.
Anytime you can make your starting pitcher comfortable, I think it's important. And you know, to be up, 7 runs after 2, I think, helped him out, and he was able to settle down and pitch his ball game.
Now, Willie Mopena will begin a rehab assignment at AAA Louisville tomorrow. He's been on the disabled list since May 9th with a strained left quad muscle. Also, Ben Weber will throw a simulated game with Louisville, either an inning or 25 pitches. He's been on the DL for 3 weeks with a bulging disc in his neck. The Reds get back on the diamond tomorrow afternoon in Houston. Aaron Harang returns to the mound after missing his last start with the flu. He's 3-2 with a 3.32 ERA. Roger Clemens goes for the Astros. The Rocket has been nothing short of sensational this year. A minuscule 1.19 ERA. If not for a lack of run support, Clemens would have a record better than 3-2. First pitch, 2:05 tomorrow on Memorial Day.